Hey, hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris. Every day I do a vlog. I'm doing one for 1,000 days, guys, 1,000 days. So if you're not subscribed, a subscribe will be awesome. And I offer a membership and I offer a super thanks. So if you want to show your appreciation down there, I'd really appreciate that too. As you know, I'm saving up some better kit, shall we say, to make better production value in my videos. So that would all help. So thank you very much. Today though, I'm going to talk about angry people. Angry people. Now, it's a state that all of us have the opportunity to be in at some point, if you call it an opportunity. We all get angry about certain things. Sometimes it's the little things, isn't it? The little things can trigger us all. And how do we deal with people who present to us in an angry way? Well, I think most people don't mirror that behaviour straight away. So I spent a long time in my former occupation as a police officer dealing with people who were angry. They would be right up there. They'd be in your face and they'd be very, very aggressive. And I found myself that the best way to actually sort of deal with angry people was to come in at a very low level. Sometimes I would intentionally drop my voice down, so they would have to struggle to listen to what I was saying. Now, these are all techniques. I'm sure they've all been written about all over the years. People talk about the conflict resolution model. They talk about how to interpret people's behaviour, their non-verbal communication. There's a lot to this, isn't there? Then there's a degree of psychology behind it. But purely from my perspective, how did I deal with people who were angry? Well, look, first and foremost, it's very obvious. I'm 6'6", I'm a big man. I guess the risk or threat to me, compared to maybe some other people, might be minimal. But nevertheless, there were a contingent of people who would look at me and see that as a challenge. And in my career, I was assaulted, I was stabbed, I did have a fair bit of violence levelled at me. But I inherently held on to the view that most people were incredibly kind, incredibly good, decent people, much like yourselves. So when people present as being angry, I try to understand and think about what their issue is. And very often, it's trying to make them aware that the reason they're angry is because probably something hasn't gone their way. Something hasn't happened, or they've caused something to happen. And the result of that is this awful situation which they are being faced with. Now, it's never lost on me the ability to be able to put myself in other people's shoes. So when you are met with anger, I think instinctively we drop back to our cave person mentality, where we fight fire with fire. There's a great impetus depending on what slings and arrows are being thrown at us. People say the most horrible things when they're angry. They really do. And words can hurt. I think it's even set out in British law where an assault can occur if certain words are used. So words are powerful. And then you back that up with a behaviour, waving of fists, waving of that screwed up face, by the way. You just know, and obviously the loud voice, they are really amplifying everything to bring attention to the fact that there is this anger. So I always felt that if you maintained a very low level approach towards anger, there are lots of opportunities for you dealing with that to go in different places. And it affords you time. It affords you time to be able to connect and communicate with somebody who is experiencing that anger and they are being challenging towards you. Now, the obvious thing to say is that when people are presenting in an angry way, well, if it's something that you really don't care about and it's something that you could just turn your back and walk away from, then if you want peace, then just do that. That's an immediate effect. You can just walk away from angry people. But sometimes you're backed into a corner. Sometimes you have to stand your ground. But if you start from a very low place, there are lots of places for you to go with that. And the anger that people can present to you, well, can be from the most minimal to the most maximal. People can carry weapons, they can hurt you. They can hurt you, like I've already said, with words. It's a place that is uncomfortable for most people because most people only ever experience this a handful of times in their life. I always felt that in order to deal with problematic, challenging, aggressive people, I had to be calm, I had to be reasonable, and I had to stand my ground in as much as that I laid out the consequence for this behaviour in terms of how they were presenting. So for example, if somebody was really being aggressive to me, I would say to them, look, I appreciate you're upset, I understand that there are issues, but you can't really we can't really communicate and go forward until we resolve this issue. Now, if we are able to resolve it here and now and bring about some peace and order, then let's do that. Really appealing to the better nature. Sometimes saying to them, is there anything I can reasonably say or do to you to get you to understand this position, or to get you to comply with a request, or to get you to do something that we need you to do in order to bring about this peaceful resolution. Of course, angry people, you do see them out and about sometimes. I've been in the city centre and I've seen people shouting and screaming and really presenting in a horrible way. Thankfully, it's not something you see every day, but when you see it and when you hear it, you kind of know it. And when you do, the options are there to just walk away. And that's not a bad thing. Turning the other cheek, as the Bible says, walking away from horrible people who just want to cause you and everybody else around them aggravation. And keeping that peace in your life, protecting yourself, the ones around you, protecting your peacefulness is paramount. So if you can avoid the contact with people who are angry at the initial phases, then do that. Like I say, sometimes it's unavoidable. You can't. You've got to sort of say something to them. But in saying something to them, sometimes anything you say will just be an annoyance. Anything you do will just be an annoyance. They have that red mist up. That red flag goes up, and that's the place that you will sit. Now, if you've been talking for a while or challenging their behaviour, they won't like that, and they won't understand your position or what you're going to do or what you're saying. I think that's time for a tactical withdrawal at that point. Walk away. Just walk away. Because people eventually, what I've understood about anger is that it's a bit like a gas balloon, isn't it? It's full, it can't take any more, and what happens, there's that pressure valve, that release, and it all comes pouring out. Now, I always say, if you feel angry, are you likely to feel angry at the same time next week? No chance. Maybe as little as a few hours later, a day later. Are you going to be angry? No, because life moves on, things move on. There is that inevitable peaceful resolution at some point. So anger, it's around us. How we deal with it is up to us, depending on the situation and the people who are presenting in an angry way. Then we just have to say to ourselves, I'm not prepared to put myself in the firing line here, and just walk away from that. Now, there are certain settings that you could have anger displayed to you. You could have it in a workplace. You could have it in your home. You could have it out and about in a very public place. It could be absolutely anywhere. It could be somebody you know. It could be somebody that you don't know. So just start from that lower place. Start from that reasonable lower place. Even if they are up there, start from there. That's a good place to start. And if it's unavoidable, try and have an exit strategy if you can. Try and walk away from that. Try not to be embroiled in that. Just think about where you are, your surroundings, who you're with. Just make sure that you're safe. And if you have to, then make a phone call. Call somebody for help. But angry people, yeah, they don't always see calm until some time has passed. And sometimes all people require in an angry moment is just time and space. Giving them time and space is important because it allows them to collect their thoughts without saying, doing, or being angry around many other people. And what do we want at the end of the day? When we're angry, we want the resolution to a problem which we don't see. Other people may be able to see it and offer that solution. So if you know somebody that's constantly being angry, then it may well be that they might need to speak with people. They might need to have a chat with somebody, a professional, who's more best placed to help them. But I just thought I'd share that today. Recently I experienced some anger from somebody, and it's an unpleasant thing to have. But sometimes you have to see it because it's part of the human condition. The same way laughter, the same way joy, the same way happiness. You know, it's all part of our DNA, our makeup. But just be safe and start from a very, very small place. That gives you lots of opportunity to do something different. And of course, avoidance, there's no harm in that. Avoiding it, that's not such a bad thing. And as always, I do a daily vlog. This is part of my vlog series. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe will be awesome. And if you're happy to give me a super thanks or join one of my memberships, that would be great too. And as always, I will be back tomorrow. Thanks so much. I'll see you then. Bye now.